the earthworms appear magically. So let's take a listen.
This is so much useful information.
As much as there is no, I would say, with the gardening, there is no like one set of thing that would work. It's like more trial and error. It's more like you find people who has did something, learn, whatever they share. I've been listening and you're talking to people like my parents, and like there are a lot of resources, that I've been tapping into. So something that worked for me might not work for others, but it's more like you have to keep trying. Eventually you will get there.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll just have to show this. This is a peat moss.
Okay.
Peat moss helps to retain the moisture, right? So it helps to hold on to that water.
Right.
So and I got fertilite. What it does is it provides aeration. So plants need that, right? This is more for the container gardening as well, because at least in the soil directly you don't need all these things, because unless it's like really clay soil, which is like really sticky. If you have other soils, non-clay ones, I think we might be okay, but this kind of helps with the aeration. It will break down and help the roots to breathe.
Right.
And this is like the same one, the percolate that I just opened. And what I do is I mix there are a lot of videos online, but what I'm doing is I'm doing like 5 parts of percolite with 1 part of compost, and maybe like 1/5 of percolite mixed, and like a 1/5 of manure. Like I get manure from like there is a I have to rethink what it's called. Oh, there's a Serrano Creek Farms right where we live. There's this compost and manure. So
is that horse manure?
Yeah, it's a horse manure, and they do also they mix with the compost as well. So they kind of do some greens and dried leaves, and then they mix with the manure. So they mix all this and sell in like 3 cubic feet bag for $3.50, which is a lot cheaper compared to manure getting in any of the stores. So
okay. So again, so you are mixing perlite, peat moss, and this compost and manure mix. These three,
right,
right? And
right.
these three in what ratio again?
So hold on. What I did last time is, hold on, 3 parts of peat mass, 1 part of compost from my bokashi,
Okay.
and 1/5 of manure and 1/5 of perlite.
Okay, 1/5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because manure and depending on because I'm making like just a generic soil, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to add too much of manure or those things, like as you like some of them are heavy feeders. For them you add manure and compost as needed, but for some of them you don't need those. So what happens is if you add them, it might burn the plant, and they might die. So
And so, but when you are decomposing your bokashi, half done, the semi compost, the
Mhm.
soil that you add is the same soil, the same mix that you've just mentioned, right?
Yeah, so the semi compost, normally what I let it sit for until it's done with, like what I call as black gold. Then I add that black gold to the to
Yeah.
my
No, but after you've taken the bokashi, after 2 weeks of bokashi, you have
Mhm.
to put it in the soil, right? And so this soil, so I'm talking about this, when you put it in that bin with the
Mm.
half done bokashi, and then you put the soil in, right? Half
Right, right.
soil. So this soil mix is the same soil that you just also mentioned that we use for plants too.
No, that one I use either previous bokashi or the manure, like the manure that I was telling. It doesn't need like a perlite or peat moss for that, right? So you would want more microorganisms to work on this compost to decompose. So
Right.
normally manure and the previously done compost would have those microorganisms. They
Yeah.
will and I put some earthworms that are available in my garden so that they do their work as well.
Yeah. Got it. So I think that will be clear now
Mhm.
to many people. All right. So that is great. So last time you mentioned about amendments. What are these amendments?
So the amendments, but normally, when we moved here, right, it was like, it's clay and with lot of rocks in it.
Right.
So you need to make that soil ready for these plants. So adding this organic matter, it automatically breaks that soil and loosens up, right? So gypsum is one other thing. I don't have to use lot of it because my soil, I was using my bokashi compost to aerate and break it down. So gypsum also kind of breaks the soil, so that it's ready for the plants to grow and survive.
Okay, so you just add a little bit of gypsum to your soil.
Yeah, normally you can get it into get it in Lowe's, and also I think Orange County they sell a lot of amendments depending on what soil nature of your soil. You can tell them and they will provide a composition that works, and they have ready made mixtures as well. I think I got like one bag of amendment with the gypsum in it. I just put it like one layer of it before I started, in October November time frame. Um,
So
and
what was your
also,
soil
what
like?
what is that?
What was your soil like that you went to buy amendment?
Yeah, so it was mostly it was very like clay like soil.
Okay.
So even like the other reason why I got cement blocks is because it kind of like does a like a garden bed, and where I could add like some layers of my soil, so that I don't have to worry about the underneath one. Eventually, as you grow these plants, the soil underneath is also kind of loosens up. But now I don't have to put too much effort to loosen that soil, so I'm adding compost on top of it, and amendments on top of it, and like growing something on top. So
Right. Great idea. And so how often do you water your plants? How do you know when to water? How much?
so the rule of thumb, like in winter we don't have to water as often.
And before we go
You,
out, in case, just in case, sorry, I'm interrupting. Just, do you have
yeah, yeah.
grow bags? You have your grow bags in the garage or outside?
Oh, I haven't really set them up. I think I
Okay.
did. Okay.
So,
Eventually I have to set them up. This is the area that I'm thinking. Hold on, let me show. So this is the area I'm thinking I'm going to, hang some grow bags here, but I haven't really come up with a plan. But these are the some of the things that you can buy on Amazon or any of the stores available here, where these are like tiny hooks. They're kind of they have a glue that comes with it, and you just hook it up, and
yeah.
it stays there.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, between this and these ones, I'm going to hang some grow bags, without impacting the walls, right? So
Right.
um, so I don't have the grow bag set up at
What is the plan to grow? What do you want to grow in the grow
So
bag?
mostly leafy vegetables like palak and methi, which is like it doesn't need lot of dirt. It just needs some soil and some sunlight little bit, so that once it grows like 4 or 5 inches tall, that's good enough to to consume.
Right. And so this is great. And one more, like after you harvest, so you've planted mostly perennials, you said, but when seasons change and you want to put some, replace the existing plants, vegetables with something else, would you be adding fresh soil to it, or would do you need to add fresh soil, or you can just plant it directly into whatever you have in your garden right now, the soil?
It's better whenever there are a lot of rules what to plant after what, right? So it's better to circulate those. Mm, and also whenever you add a new plant, I would add some new soil with it, because that the existing one is kind of already it would lack some of those nutrients, so it's better to add. Also every 6 months or 3 months, it's better to add compost and other things on top of what you have added while you planted it.
Right. You are not, do you have any fruit trees?
No, the only fruit tree that I got, I was showing blackberry.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I'm planning to get persimmon. It's also not persimmon. Sorry. I forgot the name. I had to. I'll get it. Oh, it starts with P, but it's kind of it has very beautiful flowers. Um. Let me. You know. I'll jump to another topic, and then it will
Um,
come to me. So the only fruit I would say, I mean, I have is lemon.
okay.
That's all I got, because they have their trees. I don't have much space to plant the trees, so that's the reason I didn't want to
Okay.
plant trees, because the walls are very close by, and I have a small yard. And I got moringa as well. So moringa, also I'm planning to, maybe I'm going to put them in the dirt, because it grows well. I mean, container gardening is also good, but I think with the container gardening, you need little. It has little, maintenance thing, right? You have to add more dirt and fertilizer, or you have to keep on adding, because with the natural, when you put it in dirt,
Yeah,
it will find it. Even if you don't give it to even if you don't water it like every day, even if it needs, it will find, the roots go find the water wherever it is. So that's a good thing if you put it in the soil versus having it in garden, having it in the containers.
and how much sun does this side get? How much sunlight, sunshine? Is this east side, west side? What side of this direction?
This is west, and that is south wall. This
Oh,
is west. So in summer, this gets maybe 4 to 6 hours. So I'm thinking that's good enough. This is my like first year of gardening. I'll
yeah,
find out more, but based on what I've seen last year, I thought I had enough sun. And also these vine plants, they don't need as much sun compared to these like trees, right? Trees, they need 4 to 6 hours. And also, like, let's say cabbage and broccoli, if you give more sun, right, they produce a bigger fruit. But if you don't give as much sun, they produce smaller one, but that's okay. I just want to utilize the space whatever I can, right, and then produce whatever I get is whatever I get. So
that's right. And the north side, that means the backyard, your backyard, which is the north side, then that which is a bigger area. So you haven't grown anything on that side?
yeah, so I'm going to grow like peas. They don't need sun as much, so I'm going to find like a lot of greens, they don't need sun. So you can grow all the greens, Some of the plants that doesn't need as much sun. Peas definitely they don't need sun. I can use all those vines for peas, and like Malabar spinach. It doesn't need sun. So I mean, it needs sun, but I get like 1 to 2 hours. That's good.
Yeah.
So because last time I even grew um gongura, right? It kind of it thrived. So I'm going to grow mostly greens that side. So the only problem is fruit. Anything that's needs that has fruit, I think it needs some sun. So I'm going to put all greens on the north side, and fruit on the
Yeah.
uh, this side. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to point out, I just got this. I don't know whether you can see it. This is Swiss chard.
Yeah.
This is the perennial, and it just lives, and you can get uh, produce all year long. And every year, couple of years. So it's a perennial. So it's just and very low maintenance. It doesn't need a lot of sun. Not it's like it will grow with
Yeah.
whatever conditions that you provide.
Yeah. I had Swiss chard. It was there for almost like 2 years. It
Yeah,
was
it won't die, and you can you cut it, it will start growing, and it will give beautiful colors, right? Like red, yellow, orange, all
correct.
those. It's good greens to eat every day or every other day.
Right. Excellent.
Yeah,
So
this is the green that you can grow. This will just grow. This is the other side that I'm saying. I haven't really worked on it, but eventually, planning to grow all these greens here. This is longevity spinach, which it's thriving here without any sunlight. So
this is the other side of your house, the other wall.
yeah, this is like the one that I was showing was my side, right? Like this is like I'll just show. This is my kitchen.
Yeah.
We
So this
kitchen, and
is the backyard. Yeah.
this is the back.
Wow. So you have a lot growing here also.
Yeah, I had to work on it, but like I was saying, this Malabar spinach,
Ah,
it was doing okay few months back, but now with the winter it's kind of doing okay now. I think once it pick up, once have since maybe by March, I think it will start growing.
mm,
Another Malabar spinach, and longevity spinach. I'm going to grow some more, like what do you call we call totokura amaranth, right? Amaranth is one other thing that won't die, so I'm going to plant those.
yeah.
And I got these, and some methi, and
Yeah.
I still need to work on this side. Eventually I'll get there.
Excellent. So I think we've covered a lot, and this was so informative and very useful. Thank you so much. So, and we can always come back when you change your garden sometime later on, and you add, do something new. We'll reconnect, and then we'll, have another presentation at that time. But I think
Yeah,
we,
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Anything that can help others, it's just these are my experiences. I can share, and I can take this advices from people, whoever does the gardening, so that it's useful for me as
and
well.
it's very doable as we can see, and it's very sustainable. It's a sustainable practice where all your kitchen waste is being used, less is going in
Hmm.
landfills, no fewer plastic bags going in landfills. And
Right. Hmm.
and the other beautiful thing which you mentioned in our last talk was that earthworms suddenly start appearing themselves, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we were seeing like earthworms. Like I had like some of these pots. Like I was trying to rearrange them, and I saw these earthworms from there. Like I dig some dirt, like little bit, and I see earthworms everywhere. And like some of these plants, they were thriving. Like even like normally basil, when I put it in the container, right?
Yeah.
It won't grow as much. This one is like, even if it is like out, it's outside all the time, and it's thriving. So
Yeah, it's beautiful. So we don't have to buy earthworms. There are earthworms which are sold outside for people. So earthworms just appear. So when we do things right, nature supports and helps, and things starts just happening and moving in the right direction and in the right way, right?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Like, yeah, I have seen some, people selling, like talking about buying earthworms. And, even I thought of doing that too, because they say it's good. But if you look at the equation, right, you
Yeah,
can't just get the earthworms and put it in your dirt and think it will start, they would live there. They
yeah,
need whatever, like, they need that food, right? So we don't have to buy them. They will come on their own if you give the right food.
correct.
So one of the things that I think is because of the bokashi, or the composting, the veggie scraps, whatever I was doing, I think that kind of made that earthworms to start coming.
Right.
Because they sense the food, they smell the food, and they start coming. That's what I think.
Yeah, and you also mentioned that you don't use the bokashi fluid, the fluid that is formed when the bokashi decomposition is happening. You just throw that away, right?
Yeah, I just throw in the garden, but like every day, by the end of the day, I'm pretty much done. When I get to the composting, it's already night.
Yeah.
So I don't like interfere with the garden at all during night. So normally I water during the morning. They say, it's good because, if you water in the morning, the plants, start taking water, and by the end of the day, it will all dry up. And then during the night, that's where the you have lot of problems with these insects, or worms. This was the one that I got the bare root. This is for asparagus, but you can get other bare roots. I think now they are selling it.
Okay. So where does it write? Where's it written on the packet? Where bare root? How do you know? Like you
uh,
have to buy.
um, Hold on. Say, mm, this is how it shows. This is how the bare root is, but I think they have a section for that. That's what I think. They have a big section where they'll say, all the bare roots plants are here.
All right. Okay.
But the whole idea is, getting something to grow. It doesn't have to you don't have to have a specialty store. Whatever you can find, that you can grow, my fair suggestion would be, just grow whatever you can grow. That's it. It doesn't have to be,
And at
not.
the day, it should be enjoyable and convenient also, right? Because you
I
have to.
don't have to spend like 2 hours and go to a nursery to buy something. Also, with the COVID, I don't want to expose too much. Yeah, I try to buy like non-GMO organic ones, but if I can't find it, I'll whatever I want to grow, I'll just buy it and grow it organically. That's what
And
I
then you
think.
share and get from friends and around and share
Mm,
flowers and that too, right?
right.
So excellent. Thank you so much, Shirisha. Is there something else you want to say, or we can otherwise end it here? I think we've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shavi. I really appreciate spreading, and also I really your group is the WhatsApp group and the posts that you do online. They're very useful. Very informational. It's encouraging sustainable, growing sustainable. All these things are this is kind of like equation, right? Like you have to fit into that equation. You can't just go do something like out of nowhere. It doesn't work. So you have to have some whatever you eat, you should contribute something to produce.
Right.
It doesn't have to be on a high scale or a huge scale, but something
Right.
you give.
And there's always room for change. Like whenever, if we are not doing something, like whether you're talking about equation, there's certain things, we get into a pattern of doing things, right? And we think that, oh, this is not something I can do, like gardening, for example. A lot of people would think, oh, it's not my cup of tea. But as you've seen, you've done it so beautifully and easily, and you've made it fit into your life, and yet have become one with nature also in ways that you can conveniently and comfortably, right? So with
Right.
that also you have achieved so much, come taken so many steps closer to nature, contributing to sustainability, and making this planet more beautiful, livable. So thank you. And together, it's synergistic. We all have to, do it as a team, right?
Yeah.
So thank you again, and we'll come back. We'll come back later on in a few months to see how your garden is doing.
Sure, sure. I'll definitely share my, what what I would be learning, lessons learned, what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. So I'll share that.